Let's go to Dave in Enfield. Dave, good evening.
Hello there. Enfield Council, I complained when they came very early, before 7 o'clock, and after that, they made sure that on the Monday, it was after 7 o'clock. I was staying with my daughter in Edgware. They came at about 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and I complained, and they said something about 31 degrees. They were entitled to come early.
Do you have a question for me, Dave?
The question is, can I take them to court for waking me up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday and breaking the noise abatement law? I think it was 1988, is it? 1998?
Okay.
Who says there's up from 7 o'clock in the morning.
Right, so the law doesn't give you a right to a lie-in from the bin men, Dave. Councils are allowed to set their own collection times as well as they're reasonable. And you're right that for certain purposes, there are noise restrictions for lots of purposes between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. But that doesn't trump the council's right to set a reasonable collection time. And I think when it's 31 degrees, it's perfectly reasonable to have an early shift for the health of the refuse collectors. I think this is a service issue, a service request, rather than a legal complaint. And it sounds like you've spoken to the local council's waste services department already. I just want to understand what you're saying here. They're not going to repeatedly send the bin men at 6 o'clock, are they? It was just a one-off because of the temperatures.
This is it. I've asked them since April to send me what times they collected on a Saturday, and they came back with something about that they are allowed, and they would have informed the residents that they can come and collect early. But I never saw any notification of that collection notice.
Sorry, they told you that they might collect early, but they didn't notify you they might collect early. I don't understand.
They said that they sent notification to the residents that they would collect early, but there was no notification. And therefore I wrote to them saying, since April on Saturday collections, will you please let me know what time you collected and what notifications you sent out? And I have not had a reply.
Well, I'm not entirely surprised. If you had the notification, would that have been okay, Dave?
Well, if it abided by the law, yes. But they sent no notification.
Well, they don't need to. That's courtesy. It's not a legal requirement. So this isn't about the notification, because you say that if they'd sent you the notification, you would have been okay with it. So it's just about the time, isn't it?
I'm over 80. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then go back to bed and wake up at 9 o'clock. So this disturbed my whole day.
Right. So, I mean, I'm just trying to understand exactly what you're saying, Dave. I don't want to sound unsympathetic, but are you saying that local authorities have to check the age of everyone who lives in a house before they can collect rubbish early?
No, but they should send notifications of what they're doing.
But you know they will sometimes collect before 7 o'clock. They told you that. Sending a notification wouldn't not wake you up.
In Enfield, they stopped collecting before 7 o'clock when I complained. But in Barnet, they just ignored it.
OK, so you want to sue them for what? How much do you think you should be entitled to?
Oh, £100, £200 for disturbance, because it spoiled the whole day.
Do you think more, maybe?
Well, I don't know, maximum 400 or 500.
500. What would you do with that 500?
What would I do with that 500? Buy myself some earmuffs, perhaps, I don't know.
Or perhaps private bin collection at the time you choose. Dave, you're on an absolute hiding to nothing here. The council is entitled to set reasonable collection times. I wish my bin men turned up at 6 a.m. I'd be delighted if my bins were emptied before I left in the morning, because then I could just wheel them back to my house again. But that you have absolutely no legal claim here at all, I'm afraid.
And what about leaving the bins on the pavements, which become an obstacle? In Enfield, they put them back on the driveways. In Barnet, they just leave them in the middle of the pavements.
Yeah. So, again, what are you suggesting should be done? You should sue them for leaving bins on the pavements?
No, they should listen to the residents. If the residents want after 7 o'clock, have it after 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do you ever listen to Nick Abbott's show?
No.
No, I mean, this might be a perfect call for Nick Abbott. I think he'd enjoy speaking to you.
Okay.
But Dave, thank you so much for the call. I think there might be a little bit of confusion there between the LBC Legal Hour and they have a moan hour, but there we go. I appreciate it, Dave. Gary has suggested you buy some headphones. Some people are suggesting you should move back to Enfield if the local borough of Barnet is not the place for you. Sorry, I'm actually laughing at some of these texts, but I'm not going to read them out. You know what, I am going to read out a couple of these texts about Dave from Enfield, who was calling about his bins. Philip has said, Barnet Council, it's the name Barnet. Barnet always causes problems. Quite good. Stuart says, Dan, I drive a bin wagon. If we leave them in driveways, people moan. If we leave them on pavements, people moan. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me at all. Thanks for that text, Stu. Chris has texted, Daniel, I'm disturbed every minute of the day by Heathrow Airport, which is where I live. I want compensation. Can I sue like Dave? Chris, thank you for that. I know that's a very, very tongue-in-cheek comment.